I am joined by Robert Griffin III, James White, Field Yates Meanakeims. All right, so first play we're going to look at, 2nd and 2, one of the Patriots' first offensive plays.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into another episode of the Patriots Daily Podcast, powered by Prize Picks. And Taylor, happy new league year. The new league year has officially begun. It is 4 o'clock Eastern, and that means all the news is starting to become official. Everything is starting to break. And as new news comes in, we will sit here and react to it for the next hour or so. The big two right now is that the Rams have released wide receiver Cooper Kupp. Aaron Rodgers has also been cut by the New York Jets with a whopping dead money hit for them over the next 2 seasons. And an interesting one that just dropped, actually, is that Russell Wilson is visiting the Cleveland Browns as his first free agent stop. So I don't know why that one had to wait until 4 o'clock, but that is just a super quarterback room if it ends up as Russell Wilson, Kenny Pickett, and Deshaun Watson. But here we are. Like I said, we'll sit here for the next hour or so, wait for news to come in. Maybe we get some Cooper Kupp reaction, maybe not. But in general, how are you heading into day 3 of NFL free agency?
I'm doing well. I've been slightly Cooper Kupp pilled. I'm more optimistic about the possibility of him joining. Also, when I mentioned, not really even just that, but I kind of understand how Kendrick Bourne could play into it. We can maybe
trying to fix my lighting. Sorry, continue.
You're good. You're good. But yeah, I'm all right. I'm ready for some news. That first day was like 3 days worth of signings, and then everything has come to a screeching halt. So going to be interesting. I know it was reported that Cooper Kupp's going to make his decision quickly. Yes. Once he actually gets released. So, I mean, I'm hoping that within the next 10 minutes, we have an idea of where he's going to go.
That would be fun. It would give us some real stuff to talk about and to hang out about. Because again, we're just kind of using this as a complete hangout session. We're going to make this very informal. So chat, whoop it up, ask us your questions. We'll ask some free agency questions. We'll talk about what we think could be next for the Patriots and kind of go from there. We'll talk about our friends at Prize Picks. We will plug our new subscription service as we sort of wait.
Whole game plan, baby.
I have NFL Live next to me. If you can hear it, tell me to turn it down. Otherwise, I'm going to listen to my friend Louis Riddick talk about how much he loved the Patriots free agent plan thus far. He was pumping up Harold Landry just a few minutes ago, talking about Milton Williams and how he will make a great impact for this Patriots.
Apparently great locker room guy too, Milton Williams, which is huge.
Yes.
We didn't really know much about him, so that was nice to hear.
Yep, 100%. And then I saw a clip earlier from ESPN as well where they were doing like, where could Cooper Kupp land? And every time someone said, oh, maybe he goes to call it the Titans, Louis Riddick came over to the board, pulled him away and goes, the Patriots cannot let this happen. The Patriots cannot let this happen. So it feels like he wants the Patriots to go make this move and really round out this free agent class.
Have you seen what Peter Schrager said?
I didn't.
He reported basically that it was going to come down to money. I'll find the actual phrasing of it, but Peter Schrager knows what's good. He's very well connected in the league. His exact tweet was, I know of 3 teams that are interested in Cooper Kupp. The question is what it will cost to sign him and what he and his reps are looking for money-wise. He certainly will be motivated and has good football left in the tank. Hopefully this is another DK Metcalf situation where I know Cooper Kupp said he wanted to go to a contender, but after Myles Garrett, DK Metcalf, honestly, it was just naive to even think they 100% meant what they said. Always go in with some speculation, but according to that, the Patriots should be on the table, and there's not a whole lot of options left in the veteran market. So if you want to add a guy who brings some credibility into the wide receiver room, Cooper Kupp would have been the most productive guy in that room last year. Although efficiency-wise, he actually would have been kind of close to DeMario Douglas. Their numbers weren't too dissimilar. So yeah, I would hope that they are at least one of the people who are very closely tied to this signing down at the end.
Yeah, and they definitely have been thus far. The reporting from our colleague Andrew Callahan has been that Coop is curious about the prospect of joining the Patriots. And he mentioned his connections there. Obviously, we mentioned last night, but if you didn't hear, he played with Kendrick Bourne at Eastern Washington. They were both there together for a few years. And then he played under Thomas Brown, who was the Los Angeles Rams running backs coach under Sean McVay a couple years ago. So there are a couple ties there for sure. We know he isn't the Triple Crown wide receiver he was a couple years ago, but he can certainly still play football, a tremendous leader, as we know. So it would definitely be an enticing signing here. for the Patriots if they can make it happen. Heading over to the chat a little bit, people are asking about Kupp. Someone says, give me Cooper Kupp and Jacoby Myers. Someone else asks, who would you rather, Jacoby Myers or Cooper Kupp? And I think this one's interesting because Taylor's face looks like it's an automatic Cooper Kupp. Jacoby. Okay, I would agree. I would lean Jacoby. I think he's had more production. He's production lately, excuse me. He's younger. He knows Josh's system in and out. And I think he would probably cost a little bit less as well. I know you'd have to trade for him, but I think I would like Jacoby in the room over Kupp. But what say you?
It's the same role too. They would be doing pretty much the exact same thing. Jacoby Myers is one of the pillars of consistency. He has become, obviously hasn't reached the same heights as a player, but he has become the Joe Thuney of, you don't know why they let him just walk away when they could have relatively easily retained him, and all he's done is go and continue to be a hyper efficient and productive player who never misses time. So as much as I would love the championship experience and all the intangibles and the intelligence on the field that Kupp brings and the consistency, I mean, Jacoby Myers would fill the same role again. You already know exactly what it's going to look like, and it's another one of those fits where you don't have to do too much guessing. So, yeah, I absolutely would prefer Jacoby. I don't think it's particularly close.
Yeah, I'm with you. Jacoby, someone asked, is Jacoby even available? Jacoby Myers is not available right now. This has just been speculation, giving his cap hit over in Las Vegas right now and his connection with Josh McDaniels being there. So could be a potential, but we will have to obviously wait and see. Some other news now we are seeing is that Russell Wilson will also visit the New York Giants. So man, that guy's just trying to hang on any which way he can. Aaron Rodgers is somebody who's expected to take on or head to potentially garner interest from the New York Giants as well. So we'll see where that goes.
He's going to Pittsburgh.
I think it's that would make some sense. Man, Rodgers, DK, and George Pickens in Pittsburgh under Mike Tomlin would certainly be something. I don't know what it would be, but it would be something.
And also the Harold Landry signing is official. So the first, was he the first draft pick of the Mike Vrabel era in Tennessee?
Yes,
I believe he was. Yeah, so the first draft pick by Mike Vrabel, and he becomes the first out-of-house free agent signing of the Mike Vrabel era with the Patriots. And we've talked about it. I think people will appreciate this signing and be more excited about it as long as they keep Harold Landry's role in perspective. That's what the case always is, right? I always come in here and I try to share my excitement about players, but it's usually within a certain type of fit within the team. For Harold Landry, he's going to give everybody around him the right to rush the passer by being an elite run stopper, and then he's going to be a complimentary pass rusher where, yeah, once in a while he'll win around the edge, might beat somebody inside on a counter and bring down the quarterback, but it's really going to be scheme pressures, cleaning up, and you can overlook that and say, oh, well, they're not high-quality sacks, but the guy had back-to-back 10-sack seasons under Terrell Jennings, and Mike Vrabel had 9 sacks last year in a scheme that I don't think fit him quite as well because he couldn't be as aggressive. So, I mean, again, as long as you understand what Harold Landry is, he's a well-rounded player. He's just not the elite pass rusher people hoped he'd be coming out of college, but still quality guy. And even though he's up there in age, I think his style of play is one where, even if he loses some explosiveness, he's still going to be effective.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, I think. And again, I keep talking about my friend Louis Riddick here over on NFL Live, but that was sort of.
Are you actually boys, or do you just like him a lot?
No, I just think he's awesome.
Okay, I was just making sure.
I don't. I have no.
You have friends in high places.
I have no other connections to Louis Riddick other than watching him on ESPN. I call everybody my friend. I'm friends with a lot of people here, but I have no connection to Louis Riddick. But he did pump up the Harold Landry signing. You mentioned, he was a draft pick of Mike Vrabel. The connection felt obvious. And now, as you mentioned, the signing has become official. So we are now 10 minutes in to free agency. Oh, I saw the Patriots did just tweet that. Brought the BC football boy back, welcoming Harold Landry III to New England. There will be some
protege, Ezeraku, get his protege.
Exactly. There will be a news conference, a press conference down in Foxborough tomorrow at 1 p.m. Myself and Taylor will be there to take it in. I believe it is scheduled to be a day one early wave of free agency, not State of the Union, but a press conference there. We'll have some, the chance to talk to some Patriots leadership, figuring at least Mike Vrabel. We'll see about Elliott Wolf. as well as potentially some players. So we'll keep you guys in the loop on that. But that is what's coming down the pipe. Back to Foxborough tomorrow for some media availability. I just saw your private message. That is pretty good. So
stacking you up, man. Good for you.
So here's the other one. Patriots centric, Patriots adjacent news is that the biggest offensive tackle on the market, the biggest left tackle on the market, still available is Cam Robinson. The Patriots were connected to him in that Herald report that we've sort of mentioned here over the last couple weeks from the NFL Combine, that he would be, one of their Plan B options to pivot to if Ronnie Stanley goes off the board. That was obviously the case. Dan Moore obviously goes to Tennessee for big money, and Jalen Moore goes to Kansas City. And now we're left with Cam Robinson, still sitting there. I know we did have a report. Our friend Carlos Talks Pats tweeted this out earlier yesterday, I want to say.
Yeah, the quote from Breer.
Yes, it was a quote from Albert Breer that Cam Robinson has a spotty reputation, and the Patriots are worried about his motivation wavering if they were to pay him. So feels like a little bit of a standoff there. I don't know if your thought has changed on Cam Robinson since really last night when we did our recap. I feel like it's still it's clearly a position of need, and they haven't truly addressed left tackle or big-time wide receiver just yet. So I wonder if there is still a move to be made here. If they could go at Cam Robinson, if they're kind of playing chicken and being like, look, we're not budging, you're not budging, you don't have any suitors, come here, but for our price. I do wonder if they're still in on him, but he is still on the market.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Cam Robinson is one of three potential real needle-moving signings they could still make in the veteran market. It's Cooper Kupp, it's Cam Robinson, and then Zadarius Smith, all guys that have history with the Patriots coaching staff in one way or another, all guys that would make sense for them because they still need a situational pass rusher. They still need a left tackle who's got starting experience and is proven in this league, and they also could use another wide receiver. As much help as they can get, it's going to help because they still don't have a lot of proven guys on that side of the ball. Matt Collins actually had the second most receiving yards for a player in Josh McDaniels era in Vegas behind Devontae Adams, but still you'd like him to be your fourth receiver. Really good, I think, role player. Love him as a blocker. I think he can catch some downfield passes, but he is what he is. So with Cam Robinson, again, I urge people, it's not all about the stats, right? The stats are only one piece of the puzzle. We need to make sure that, it is notable that he and Vidarian Lowe have very similar pass rush metrics, but it's also important to see how exactly they lose. Because if you look at Ronnie Stanley, half of his pass rush stats are not very good, right? It's like, I think he doesn't allow sacks, he doesn't allow hits, but he allows a lot of hurries. So sometimes you got to look at it as, okay, like, is the quarterback helping out his offensive tackle? Like, is he just sitting there? Is he not stepping up? Is the pocket in the quarterback's lap? I think these are all things that need to be taken into consideration with Cam Robinson. He's a fine player. I don't think he, keeps you from having to draft a tackle, but it's at least a one-year stopgap where you know exactly what you're getting. Similar spot with Vidarian Lowe where, you have an idea of what the player is, but we also saw his ceiling is not someone that you want starting every game of an NFL season.
Yeah, it really feels like it doesn't feel like there's much of an upgrade there from Lowe to Robinson, given the money that you're going to have to shell out to Robinson compared to what you're paying Vidarian Lowe, and the fact that you still hold the number 4 pick and you still have to move up, or you could potentially move up in the back end of the first round to go and get a guy like that. So what are you chuckling at?
It's just the chat, like everybody talking crap about Cam Robinson, and it's just like, who are you to be picky? Like
I know that's the other thing
between being desperate and not being picky. Like I know when we talked about DK, you're like, well, they are desperate. I don't think you should ever be, other than a quarterback. Maybe that's the one time you should be truly desperate, and maybe you could end up with egg on your face because it's that important. But like, you don't want to just be doing anything. But also, you need a left tackle. Cam Robinson brings familiarity as long as they're comfortable with the contract, because he does have those issues. I'm fine with it. But then, of course, you don't want to overextend yourself. And, like, that's clearly why the guy hasn't signed for 3 days, right? Versus, like, desperate would have been if they signed him on day one to the Dan Moore contract, right? Where it's like, yes, you are desperate, but that is a line you should not cross, right? So, just, again, it's all about perspective.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's like, who are the Patriots to turn down talent is one side of it, and the other side of it is don't get too desperate and again, the Dan Moore contract, I'm sorry, it's just crazy by Tennessee. I feel like they just keep taking themselves into a hole with some of the decisions they've made in their front office. Not that the Patriots have been too much better. But again, it's like, he was was not a great left tackle last season at all. And then they signed him to a mega contract. Pittsburgh's like, fine, take him. And now Tennessee is, stuck with $20+ million at a subpar tackle. So
what they're doing, dog.
It's
an
interesting one.
Did they sign anybody else notable? Let me see. Titans.
But on the offensive line note, someone asks, Mekhi Becton would be a solid option at guard or stopgap left tackle. What are your thoughts on Becton outside of guard? I know we played a good guard this season for obviously a stacked Philadelphia team, but he did start as a tackle. He's a big body. It didn't work out with the Jets, but he goes and sort of revives himself with Philly last year, and he's still on the market. He's still a free agent. Would you go after a guy in Mekhi Becton?
I think Mekhi Becton, I like the upside, but I know like Dylan Radins, or however you pronounce his name.
Ray Dunes.
Yeah. Oh, maybe that's it. Yeah, wow, that's not even close to what I would have thought. But I hate working from home. I don't get to talk to people. I don't know how people's names are pronounced. But I think he's in a similar boat where like neither one of those guys I think is ideal, where like Mekhi Becton was an issue in pass pro, but he was a really good run blocker. So at least he provided something. Radunz is not great in either area. So, like, as competition, I guess, sure. But when you talk about not moving the needle, like, I am indifferent if that move is made. Mekhi Becton, I'm intrigued, right? Okay. I'd like to see if maybe he can take a step forward in pass protection, although he was with one of the best offensive line coaches in the NFL. So, I don't know how much more growing he necessarily can do away from that system. But that's the next tier of needle moving for me. We're at the stage of free agency where like it's 3 guys who are on the old side who are going to be available. And, I don't think anybody's necessarily going to be like clawing over each other to get them. And that's where you are. So a guy like Mekhi Becton, if he's still on the market, there's usually reasons. Teams probably have some reservations, and a lot of it's okay. Like Milton Williams. I think with Milton Williams, it's a little I think it makes less sense to say that he just is like a 1-year wonder because he's shown it, right? And then his contract year, he improves. You're hoping he just brings it all together. Becton, there's still questions. It's not just, can he tie it all together? 100%. He's still not a great player. He was just, a guard in a surrounding system that benefited him a lot. Much more so, I think, offensive line, your surroundings matter more than as a pass rusher anyway. Not going to get into that, but, it'd be a fine addition, but.
And on just looking at free agency, I am of the mindset normally where there's a reason guys are getting into free agency, right? Like, the team didn't want to lock them up, for a reason. And you either need to get premier talent generally through the draft or through trade. But going back to the Milton Williams part of it, this is sort of a unique situation. And that's why I really, like that signing for them. I know we're 2 days out of it, but just quickly on it, where they drafted Milton Williams, 4 years ago, call it, and he was able to cash in big, and Philly's able to let him walk, not because they don't think he's a great player, but because they've drafted well enough where they're allowed to let him walk, right? They have Jalen Carter, they have Jordan Davis, they have Nolan Smith. They just let Josh Sweat go, and they've drafted well and then restocked really quickly. So, that's the idea here for not just the Patriots, but any team where you can't look down on Milton Williams. He's one of the few guys this run where it's like, the team just set themselves up enough where they could just let him go and did not have to pay him a ton of money because they have guys behind him. So that's sort of what you have to look forward to Patriots wise. If you want to see them succeed, is to get these drafts going kind of like Philly did. And, that's how you're going to succeed in the NFL.
Yeah, and I also mentioned this online where I keep hearing that when it comes to Milton Williams, it's like he has to be the guy for the Patriots. No, he doesn't.
Right.
Keon White's still here. Keon White was actually more efficient as an interior rusher in terms of pass rush win rate. And again, this isn't like a Harold Landry situation where if he had a bunch of sacks and the wins weren't there, that's where you start to think, yeah, you are a product of your environment. Like with Landry, a lot of his sacks came from the fact that he was playing with Jeffrey Simmons, Danico Autry, Arden Key, like a lot of other rushers, and he was able to benefit from not being the guy. Milton Williams is like winning one-on-ones in impressive fashion. He's creating pressures that are setting up sacks for other people. And it's not like offensive line where truly the people who are playing next to you can make you look a lot better than you are by fixing your mental mistakes and things that really are tough to see on the stat sheet. Whereas defense, there are definitely ways that, it's still a symbiotic relationship, but the offensive line is considered like the secondary for a reason. There's just a level of chemistry you have to have that's very different. So, yeah, again, I understand, and I feel like a broken record at this point, but I keep saying, like, I get the skepticism about Milton Williams, but I don't watch the tape and think, oh, this guy, I'm kind of worried. It feels like he's just cleaning up for everybody else. It's like, no, this is a guy who's definitely getting his wins, his efforts there. He can be a well-rounded player. So, yeah, I understand it. I just don't necessarily agree with the level of skepticism.
Levi,
yeah,
it's going back to the Detroit Lions. Levi Onwuzurike, Terrell Williams connection. Obviously, he came from the Detroit Lions, was the defensive line coach. He is remaining in Detroit. So that was someone who, we sort of earmarked for the Patriots. But again, also somebody who, with the Milton Williams signing, kind of, goes down the list on there.
And it also, it's only a 1 year, $5.5 million deal. So I thought the Patriots would be in on him because obviously the Williams connection, he had a breakout season, but they probably could have had him at that price. Maybe they I wonder if that's something they see as we'll address it in the draft, or if they really like Jeremiah Farms. But I don't know. It's still up in the air. But yeah, I thought they'd be in on him. So it just seems like maybe they weren't.
Yeah.
Or he just wanted to go back to Detroit.
Right. So here we go here. Harold Landry is official, as you can see on screen. Patriots announcing that, brought the BC boy back. Nice graphic. Welcome, Harold Landry III. And another one that is official, as we now know, the LA Rams tweeting out this graphic. Thank you for everything, Cooper. Thank you, Coop. Super Bowl champion. He is now on the market. So as we sit here and wait, I know Ian Rappaport had said earlier on today that teams, I'll find the exact quote. He said, I do expect Kupp to land quickly, mostly because teams have known that he was going to be available. They've been able to talk to him and they have been able to plan. So I assume teams will be ready. And that's sort of where we sit and where we stand here, because again, since the Rams told him, I believe they allowed him and his agent to seek a trade and try and find his value and compensation on the open market. And so we will see if the Patriots can hopefully get that done. We've shared already, but the Patriots, according to Andrew Callahan, sorry, I'm just making sure I read this report correctly. According to Andrew Callahan,
make sure I wasn't missing something.
Nope, Cooper Kupp is curious about the prospect of joining the Patriots. So we will wait here. We will hang out and see what happens on that front. If you guys have Patriots questions, throw them in the chat. We will turn this into a mailbag edition, a sort of Ask Me Anything as we sit and wait for more NFL news. But before we get into any more of it, let's take a second, listen into a word from our friends over at Prize Picks. We will be right back. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all, and all you got to do is pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. So run your game all season long on Prize Picks. They now offer Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. And the second half of the basketball season is officially here, and the race to the playoffs is heating up on Prize Picks. So don't miss your chance to cash in as the league's best fight for playoff positioning. You think LeBron James will get more than 24 points? You think Giannis will get more than 35? Cook up those hot takes with your friends and win real money this basketball season. All you got to do is sign up on the Prize Picks app today. Download the app and use that code CLNS. You get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. That is Prize Picks. Head over there, use that code CLNS. You get $50 instantly after you play $5. The Oklahoma City Thunder are in town tonight, the number 1 seed in the West, taking on the defending champion Boston Celtics. And if you want to get in on the action with us, do so at the Prize Picks app. We'll put together a Patriots daily OKC versus Boston lineup, since I know Taylor loves the Celtics and knows so much, especially about the Oklahoma City Thunder. So I'll ask you this, Taylor. Do you know Lou Dort on the Oklahoma City Thunder?
Lou Dort?
L-U Dort.
You spelled Lou and then you didn't spell Dort? I don't know. How do you spell D-O-R-T?
D-O-R-T. Lou Dent is his full name. Lou Dort. Do you think he has more or less than 2.5 assists?
A name like that, he better have more.
He has 3 assists in each of his last 2. So I'll put Taylor down for more than 2.5 assists for his now new favorite basketball player, Lou Dort. And I had to pick the best one for Taylor. And you know what? On that, Tatum's still questionable. I know Jaylen Brown is still questionable. Drew Holiday, 5 rebounds, 6 rebounds in his last 2. Although the Oklahoma City Thunder are a pretty tall team. I'm going to take less. I don't like that number. I'm going to keep talking it out with you guys as we wait. Chat, we'll send our prospects lineup into the chat. Points. Derek White, more or less than 15 points, chat. Help us out. More or less than 15 points for Derek White to round out our Patriots Daily Prospects lineup for tonight. Somebody. 2,500 of you in here. Less. Jason says less. Okay, that's our lineup. They both 2 less for D. White. Okay. So Lou Dort, more than 2.5 assists. Derek White, less than 15 points tonight. Ooh, there's a lot coming in. Everyone's saying more.
I just spoke it too soon.
Yeah, all right, I did. We're changing it. D. White, more than 15 points tonight. Lou Dort, more than 2.5 assists. We'll tweet out the lineup later. Sign up on the Prize Picks app if you want to join in on it. Use that code CLNS. You get $50 instantly. Jason came in first and said less, and so we took it, and everyone said more.
It's a democracy, brother. I'm sorry.
Exactly. I unfortunately think we're going with more. But anyway, if you want to join in on it, head over there. Use that code CLNS. It is the new league year here across the NFL. And we still sit here and we wait because nothing major has broken. Joey Bosa did go to the Buffalo Bills. We do know that. We didn't hit on that last night. Evan Ingram recently signed with the Denver Broncos on a 2-year deal. Did you think the Patriots should have or what after a guy in Evan Ingram or even Joey Bosa?
Evan Ingram, no. I think he's kind of a weird fit. They already got a couple tight ends. They need youth in that room, not another veteran. Joey Bosa, I happened to tweet a Daredevil Born Again GIF because I just watched the episode and didn't know that Bosa had signed like 25 minutes earlier. And it got so many likes so fast. I was like, oh my God, is everyone watching Born Again at the same time? I got so excited. But it was about Bosa. People were like, is that why? Because it was a GIF of Daredevil screaming. Yeah. I was like, no, I'm indifferent. Like, Bosa is the Von Miller signing to me. It's just, okay, is he healthy? Is he even going to play in the game? Yeah, he's going to give you trouble a couple of times, but, I'm not terribly moved, I guess. Okay. So, yeah, I don't think he's a bad player or anything. It's just the availability is really the concern for me. And I would assume he's going to be somewhat of a rotational player to keep him fresh the same way they kind of did with Von Miller. So we'll see what happens. But I thought he was going to go to San Francisco. What happened?
I heard that as well. It's our friend Ricky had that earlier, and then he got denied. He's losing steam. That pretty Ricky. But okay, here's an interesting one. Aaron Rodgers hasn't happened yet, but is apparently interested in playing for Minnesota. Vikings, this is according to Diana Rossini of The Athletic. Vikings decision makers are still evaluating their options at quarterback, including the possibility of signing Aaron Rodgers. The 4-time MVP is intrigued by the idea of playing in Minnesota. For now, it's a waiting game. He is literally taking the Brett Favre path, plays his entire career in Green Bay, plays 1 season in New York, and then goes to Minnesota. Again, if it happens, look, I don't know how much Rodgers has left in the tank. His best game last season was against the Patriots in week 3. Besides that, he looked pretty shot. He looked pretty done. But if he does end up going to a team in Minnesota with 2 guys in Justin Jefferson and obviously Jordan Addison, that would be something. we don't have to do a ton of Aaron Rodgers talk, but it's literally the Brett Favre track all over again. What do you make of Rodgers potentially heading to Minnesota?
I'm not gonna lie, this could be very similar to when Favre went to Minnesota because they were already pretty stacked. And they just needed the quarterback, and then he actually played really well after a pretty rough time in New York. So I can't stand this man. He's so damn annoying.
I know.
But I have to admit, also, and I'm not gonna do that. This would be pretty cool signing, though. I think like the Steelers, I think that would just be interesting, funny a little bit. I think the Giants would just be like, ugh, like just oh god, get another New York team that's not going anywhere. Like, please save me that. It's not my nightmare, but it's their nightmare. I just don't want to hear about it. But yeah, the Vikings is one move that I could get on board with. As a football fan, I don't know how you get mad at that. That's a pretty fun combination of players. And he's just there for a year. JJ takes over after. That's a pretty cool situation.
I don't hate that. And as annoying you said as Rodgers is, I feel like he's been a decent mentor for guys in the past because of how things
I didn't say that. I did not say that. What? I don't know what he's like as a mentor. I would not.
No. I'm saying that.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
I'm saying you said he is annoying. I agree. But it does seem like he has been a good mentor for guys, at least for what it's worth.
That 5-minute Hard Knocks.
Zach Wilson.
He's talking to Zach Wilson. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like, so again, these are from his mouth, the way he says it. Like, he understood the Brett Favre situation in front of him, and he didn't want to give that to anybody else. So perhaps there's a chance he can be helpful to JJ McCarthy. I'm trying to kind of talk it into.
I'm trying my best
here, but it's definitely Did he really throw a hissy fit over Jordan Love being there? I don't really think he seemed all upset about that. I mean, again, he was probably upset. I don't mean it like that, but I feel like he took it on the chin because he knew the situation that Jordan Love was going into. Again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm giving Aaron Rodgers far too much credit than he deserves. But nonetheless, it does sound like there is at least some intrigue from him to go to Minnesota. So we'll track that. We'll track the rest of the moves here as things continue, as news continues to trickle in. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
It's funny. I was looking on my feed, and Andrew tweeted, the Patriots holding a press conference tomorrow with Gillette, indicates team leadership will be available, possibly some players. And Albert Breer quote tweets it, former Patriots beat reporter, and goes, it's funny watching Patriot reporters treating a simple post-free agency press conference, the kind most teams have routinely, like the moon landing. Honestly, like it is jarring. It's not normal for us. Last year,
right,
when we were actually like acknowledged in the offseason, it was like, wait, hold up. What is going on here? Are we people or something? So, right. I mean, yeah, this is a new age for everybody.
Well, and it is kind of like a moon landing because it's only been like this recently for the last couple seasons.
Like an Earth landing, I guess. We were on the moon before.
But also, like, we are just kind of doing our job and, getting a PR announcement and be like, hey, this is going to happen tomorrow, tweeting out the information to the fans on Twitter. But I also...
That's what I did. That's why I did what I told you in the chat that I'm doing now. I'm just like, you know what? I think at least it's funny. I don't, that's your thing. You're good at that kind of stuff. I hate
fast fingers
announcements.
got these Twitter fingers over here. We do have a couple new members that have joined recently. DYB, maybe that's his name. And then Andrew. That's PGS Nest, good friend.
Oh, what's up, PGS? Oh, I was like, is it Dweeb?
Dweeb became a YouTube member. Not Dweeb? You, Andrew. PGS Nest, follow him on Twitter. He's got some great Patriots information over there. He has joined as a member. Our members are starting to stack up here. If you have been watching Patriots Daily over the last couple days, last couple weeks, we do have new membership tiers here on the channel. Rookie starter, all pro, GOAT status. You get bonus content. It doesn't take away from anything you always see on the channel. It's just some more stuff. Taylor put together a Milton Williams breakdown the other day. We'll give you a sneak peek of that in just a second. But basically, it is what you get with these bonus tiers. There's also emojis. And again, I think Amit is fooling around in the chat and put up our emojis. We can't see them on our end, but they are on YouTube. But regardless, that is kind of what we're looking at. So Taylor did put together a full film breakdown on Milton Williams. We'll give you a sneak peek right now and see if that is something you would like to be interested in. And if you are, please help us out and join the tiers. But without further ado, here's the preview. We'll be right back.
I'm not going to lie. They had us in the first half. After agreeing to terms with the Carolina Panthers, former Eagles defensive tackle Milton Williams decided to pivot to the Patriots after being offered a 4-year deal worth $104 million, making him the third highest paid defensive tackle by average annual value and the highest paid Patriots player by average annual value in team history. Now, there is skepticism over whether Williams can live up to his contract, as he's coming from an Eagles defensive line that was absolutely stacked with talent and was able to rotate players due to their depth. But I'm going to take a look at the stats and the film to prove that Milton Williams can not only be a difference maker as a pass rusher, but also as a run defender and become the key piece to what is going to be a revamped Mike Vrabel defense. Take this third down red zone sack against Falcons right guard Cody Lindstrom. Lindstrom comes out of his stance with both hands out in front, and Milton Williams decides to counter by first swiping to knock the guard off balance, then continuing to swipe away the hands, getting underneath Lindstrom, and taking down Kirk Cousins for a sack. Milton Williams did a full 180 as a pass rusher in 2024. Unfortunately, the same can be said for his run defense, and not in a good way. After ranking top 10 among interior defensive linemen in run stop rate in 2023, Milton Williams graded out as a bottom 10 interior run stopper in 2024.
Make sure to become a Patriots Press Pass member so you'll get full access to this Milton Williams deep dive, as well as all of our other exclusive content.
So that's what, we have a cat hanging out. Let's go. Which one's this?
It's camera shy. This is Harley. Because
Harley,
she sounds like a motorcycle.
Is Harley a Patriots Press Pass membership tier?
Of course, bro. She's day one.
Day one. Darius Slay is going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's some news.
That's interesting, I guess.
So, hi, Harley. Thank you for joining. And
thanks for being a member, girly.
Yeah, good stuff. But again, if you want to join in on the more exclusive action here on the channel, head over and check out our new tiers. There's plenty of stuff, plenty of fun stuff coming here. Here are the tiers: rookie starter, all pro, GOAT status. All three come with ad-free content, and then you get more as you go up. There will be film breakdowns. There will be exclusive interviews. There will be Discord chats, percentages off of merchandise, which is going to be starting to get built out with the CLNS team as well. You get early access to videos and all that fun stuff. So again, if you want in on the action, head over there. And again, we'll keep everything as free as possible, but that is just more bonus content for you all. So having said that, yeah, Darius Slay goes to the Steelers. They're sort of starting to load up. They go get outside a quarterback. They're kind of getting the roster ready for a QB. Wonder what they do there. Christian Roseboom, linebacker, is being signed by the...
When is the Jack Gibbons signing? Wake me up when Gibbons is a Patriot.
This is true. That has yet to happen. So, yeah, this is kind of where we're at. Any questions in the chat? Anybody want to help guide? I wish. GOAT status gives you special access to Mike's favorite SpongeBob episode list as well. Maybe we can get that going. Maybe we can get a Patriot meme emoji going. I'm not trading
emoji.
I want to join the Discord chat for SpongeBob memes. Someone else says. So this is. Can you guys see on screen emojis? Because me and Taylor don't see our emojis. Maybe it's on the... So it doesn't look like it's there on Twitter. Does it come up on YouTube? No emojis. It says Tay Kadlick, Tay Kadlick. I'm confused, but...
In this, I'm sure it just says Tay Kadlick.
Well, we'll figure out the emojis, but they're coming and we're building out the subscription service that way. Here's a good one from a member, Laughing Thunder. Do you guys think a trade for T. Higgins is a possibility still? I absolutely still think that this is on the table. Like, that relationship there, that salary cap maneuvering that Cincinnati has to try and do is going to be hell, no matter how you dice it. And the Myles Garrett extension in Cincy made it even harder for them. He's now making $40 million a year. and Drew Tobin said at the Combine that they want to make Jamar Chase the highest paid non-quarterback in history. Well, now you have to hit 40 million APY to do so. You still have to try and trade out of Trey Hendrickson. You still have to try and get T. Higgins signed long-term. He doesn't want to play on a franchise tag. Nobody does. So, yes, the salary cap for the most part is crap if you want to pay and spend and make it happen. But they have a lot of cap gymnastics to do. So I do think that for the right price, a T. Higgins trade is absolutely still a possibility, not just for the Patriots, but for any team. And I wonder if and when it would happen. He is franchise tagged for the year. We wonder if he wants to play on it. But I would keep that, completely open-minded for now.
Yeah, you have to. The Patriots are in no position to close the door on anything. So yeah, as long as any receiver is available for trade, because until the moment they're moved, the price is probably shifting or is at least somewhat malleable. So they should still be in the market. Again, I just want them to avoid being desperate, because say they draft a receiver, right? You're not able to land the guy that you want. Even if they sign Cooper Kupp, you still should probably draft somebody who can be that bona fide X, because you can't rely on Javon Baker. But if even Jalen Polk, if either one of those guys develops, now you've got 3 young receivers on your hands, and that's on top of all the veterans that they've added. Now, the veterans are expendable, obviously, but I mean, I don't think they should overexert themselves if they don't have to. Still try to get that number 1 guy if you can. But like, if you have to pay an exorbitant amount of money for T. Higgins, actually not even the money. Really, it's more about draft capital. Like if they're asking for a second or something like that, absolutely not. If it's closer like your second, third, or a fourth, now we're talking.
Yeah, and you're going to obviously have to sign to the big deal. So here's a question. Would you do the DK trade for T. Higgins? So hypothetically, would you trade pick 38 this year to sign T to a 3-year or 5-year, $30 million? You wouldn't do that?
No. Availability. I'm not sending anybody a second round pick for a guy who might miss like 5 games a year. I'm sorry. I think T can be a number 1 type of player, a receiver, if you use him well, if you move him around the formation, and he can be the kind of guy that dictates coverage, but like it has to stop somewhere. 5 years, $150 million. Even that's a lot for me, but especially the trade capital. I don't think that makes a whole lot of sense. Like, I also don't think this receiver group, especially for X receivers, is that bad. It feels a lot like the Pop Douglas draft, where it's like a bunch of undersized guys who play bigger than they are. I think as long as you're not expecting these X receivers to be burners necessarily, and you understand what they are, a lot of them are possession guys where it's going to take the quarterback as well, but a guy like Drake May can maximize them. That's what you have here. And again, T is not an actual number 1. He's like the 1B, if anything, like at best. I think he can produce like maybe a 1A in the best of circumstances, but between his availability, we still don't necessarily know how this Patriots offense is going to look. I don't think we're there yet.
I still look at this one the way I do the DK one, where to have the opportunity to pay around top of the market wide receiver, top of the market money, I would give up pick 38. Now I do get and DK doesn't have the availability issue, right? He had the culture fit issue. Now it turns to
the consistency issue. He's on the field, but he doesn't always produce at the level you'd expect.
Right. And I still think T would be good in the room. I don't think he would be a locker room issue. It is the availability you mentioned that makes it, questionable, but you do have the money still. And are you going to get a better wide receiver at 38 than you are T. Higgins? No, probably not. But again, that's where T was drafted.
T. Higgins was a second round pick.
He was, I know, but T's done it. Like it's still the potential versus what's actually been on the field, right? T. Higgins is a known commodity. Guys,
but you're giving up a pick and money. Again, that's a thing. Like you're giving up what
Polk was also pick 37 last year. So he could either be T. Higgins or he could be Jalen Polk, and you don't really
still feel like it's so unfair to talk about Polk in his season last year. It just feels like it's not like we can't bring it up, but given everything, I don't know. It just feels like beating a dead horse. Like if it continue, I'm not poo-pooing you bringing up or anything.
No. I was just putting context on the pick number. I agree the Polk thing is beating a dead horse. And Taylor, I still think that Jalen Polk can turn this thing around and be and could be a net positive with Josh McDaniels. I really do think that he does have the skill set. Like, yes, the last year was terrible, but you're right. Beating a dead horse is beating a dead horse. Like, it's over. It happened. Start a new coach, new offensive system, same quarterback in Drake May, who wasn't really able to get him the ball last season. But I think Polk can have success, and I'll give you the floor on Polk to kind of share the numbers that you shared with us the other day, and maybe, ask the chat and figure, hey, would you be okay if these were Jalen Polk's numbers in year 2?
All right, one sec.
Because this was interesting.
So if Jalen Polk this season had 43 catches for about 600 yards, so 13.7 average, and 3 touchdowns, I feel like people would say, all right, considering like everyone keeps bringing up how historically bad it was and how it would be a massive outlier if he had basically done nothing as a rookie and then contributed his second season. Yes, it would not be unprecedented. It would be uncommon. But what I keep mentioning is the Patriots have been in uncommon circumstances where their coaching has been horrendous. And you can understand why these players haven't produced. I don't really think talent is the issue. And somebody nailed it. I was reading Kayshon Boutte's stats because Kayshon Boutte barely played. He played way less than Jalen Polk did even less than Jalen Polk did. Got his head on right in year 2 with, obviously the receiver room was what it was, but with Alex Van Pelt, I think a somewhat serious offensive coordinator. I don't want to poo-poo Bill O'Brien, but really it's the wide receiver coaching. But he really wanted to take a step forward. He committed himself and he improved. And now he's a guy that some people kind of talk about as being in the mix to potentially start. I don't know about that yet. I think that he needs to earn Josh's trust. And I think there's still some maturation he needs to do, specifically on the field. But yeah, with Jalen Polk, I think it's unfair, as I think the most fair way to put it, to just assume that he's going to fall off a cliff because of last season when he didn't really have a quarterback who could get him the ball. He wasn't coached up very well and was put in a position where he just kind of had a mental cascade because of what happened with the drop issues, and then it just continued to get worse. And we saw that there were flashes where he was much more consistent before that happened. So that's my argument. Just think about Boutte just think about Kayshon Boutte anytime you want to poo-poo the idea of Jalen Polk having a better sophomore season.
Think about Boutte anytime you want to poo-poo. That's what Taylor says. But okay, so the counter is we're talking about a 6th-round pick versus a 2nd-round pick, right? Mm-hmm. And so it was still a shot in the dark to take Boutte. Now, to make the leap that he did was good to see. And if Polk can make that leap, it's also, a net benefit. I would still like to see more out of a 2nd-round pick than I did a 6th-round pick. Those numbers also depend on what's around him and what role Polk is playing, right? Is the entire room at 500 yards or less and we're not scoring points again, then it's bad. Where if you spent a 2nd on him and that stinks, but if he can turn into a solid 2/3 option, I'm okay with it. As long as he doesn't throw up a complete dud like he did last year, then any improvement is improvement. So
I got to open the door for Liz. I made a mistake. I'll be right back.
That's all good. We'll sit and hang out. I don't know if I've ever done this completely solo dolo here before, but I'll read the chat. Dexter Lawrence goes to Seattle. DeMarcus Lawrence to Seattle. Come on, Los. You got to get on that. Oh, there you go. He said DeMarcus. Breaking. Yeah, I'm not putting up anything Cooper Kupp. People are messing with me in the chat.
Yeah, no, I'm not trusting the chat anymore. Y'all have lost that.
I think that was the first time I ever went completely solo on screen, and I got kind of nervous. But that's
how'd
okay.
it feel?
Nervous. No, I'm just kidding. We were fine. How much cap space do we have left? I don't know off the top of my head. I can't really.
So a ton, bro. Yeah. Again, when we said that they had more money than they could spend, we were serious. There's nothing they can do this offseason that seems on the table that would have them strapped for cash. Nothing. People keep asking about the cap space. You should not care. They have plenty. They have too much. They're guaranteeing money. That's the biggest thing. And everyone says they're cheap. 2nd year in a row, they're shelling out guaranteed money. That's the big one.
So on the money thing then, I know you were hesitant on T and DK at 5 years, $30 million. if you didn't this, I'm just playing hypothetical because we don't have much to react to yet. If T hit the open market, would you sign him to 5 years, 30 mil?
5 years, geez.
Because money's not an option, apparently, which it isn't. So you don't have to give up 38.
5 years is a long time.
There will be outs in that contract.
I mean, will there be? That's the thing. Like, all right, so is another team going to give him 3 with guarantees? Like, it's the structure is more important than what it is just on the surface. I'm still just saying that commitment. I don't know, man. I think that 5-year contracts do give the team more control. So maybe that's where the angle would be. If that's what the angle is, and you're adding more years so that you can kind of just have some maneuverability, I'm fine with that. If it's not like legitimate, like this dude is getting signing bonuses for 5 years straight, I don't love that. But yes, I'm not going to say I'm not concerned about money. Like, I don't really care how much they give out, especially because the cap's going to go up next year and they already have too much money. Like, that's not a concern. It's more committing a lot to guys who do have some level of question marks. And for T, it is the availability. It's so tough. It sucks being desperate. It sucks being desperate.
Cincy is strapped right now, as we know. Would you trade pick 4 for Jamar Chase?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
And sign him to a 5 years, 210?
Yes. Whatever Jamar Chase. If you get Jamar Chase, you give him whatever Jamar Chase wants. People say I don't like good. People say, okay, somebody said in the chat, say I hate real receivers.
Yeah.
I don't like overspending because, yes, you do need receivers. But, like, again, I just don't want to be desperate. And all of these guys are available for reasons. And I'm actually considering those reasons. I don't want the team to just take anybody who's willing to sign up here when you want to be this draft and develop team. I'm all for building the foundation and getting those guys in that can do that. But, like, even Darius Slayton, there would have been a line for me, as much as I liked him, of being like, all right, you're not just like, let's not be stupid here. But yeah, with Jamar Chase, like, that's the kind of dude and again, he's not going to be available because he's Jamar goddamn Chase. Like, if you're talking about, like, even Jordan Addison's a guy where I would consider giving up a decent amount of capital for him. There's no real red flags. He's been in a good offense. He's produced. Like, I need consistent production. I need to know you're going to be on the field, and I'd like to know that you are going to be a locker room fit. Like, these are big things for me. And if one guy is a massive question mark in one of these areas, for DK, it's consistency mentally and on the field. For T, no questions about his mentality or anything like that, but how often is he going to be on the field? And there is the slight question of what is he going to be away from Jamar Chase, although I think that's a bit overblown, but because I do think his skill set, like, if you want to ignore T Higgins, good luck, right? Like, no, it's like decaf. It's like, it's just funny because he's played in Seattle. It's like DK Metcalf where, right? It's like, has that ever been an endorsement deal or something? I feel like in a city where Starbucks was founded, DK and Metcalf, decaf, that's perfect.
I would have done
I just strike lightning. Damn, missed opportunity.
Well, now it's gone because now he's in Pittsburgh. But.
Missed opportunity. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there are other receivers where I would feel much more comfortable, but those guys don't hit the market. So when I, have an issue with signing certain guys that are available, it's like, okay, how much is the concern? How much does it matter? And really, it only matters for me with, like, draft capital. Like, yeah, with 5 years is a lot, but I will sign T for pretty much any money. I don't really care that much. It's just like, I'm not going to give up a second-round pick for him because the second-round pick could be better. You don't know. Actually, that's what I was going to do because I looked up the current mock draft database wide receiver rankings. So if we look outside of the top 32, the guys that should still be available, Trey Harris, Alec Iomanner, Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel, Jack Besh, Isaiah Bond, Jalen Royals, Xavier Estrepo, very different type of player, Savion Williams, like, there's still, and I also think there's going to be some gems later on, but obviously those are more projections, but, like, there's plenty of players who, even if they aren't exactly T Higgins, they could still be impact players, and a lot of them can actually live at X receiver, whereas I think T is someone that moving him around maximizes him, but I also don't think that it's smart to stick him in one place because I just don't think that's necessarily his skill set. Like, he's not fast enough to always threaten everybody on the outside. He's not necessarily the type of route runner where he can always win against slot corners who are quicker because he doesn't always separate as much as he'd like necessarily. But against the right matchups, he's great. So I like him, but I also think that you can get somebody with that second round pick who at the very least gives you a similar level of production?
As I scroll the Twitter sphere here, I found an interesting landing spot for Cooper Kupp should it happen this way. This is from Greg Bell out of Seattle. He's a radio guy. Went on his show a couple times out west. But Cooper Kupp is a Yakima, Washington native. He went to Eastern Washington. And the Seahawks have parted ways with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett in the last 5 days. So I don't know if we've thought of any other potential landing spots for Cooper Kupp, but it wouldn't shock me if he landed in Seattle. They've shedded some potential salary cap space. Now they're trading, or they're going to sign Sam Darnold to a mega deal. That's not a terrible spot for him in Seattle. If they're trying to kind of turn this thing around and win now-ish, pair him up with Sam. It's an interesting thought. This just came across the timeline, but what do you say to him potentially going to Seattle?
I think it makes sense because of the Eastern Washington connection, the need for the Seahawks, like everything in the tweet, it makes sense. But like, what do the Seahawks have that's more appealing other than like maybe being in a place that you like more? And obviously location. Yeah. But I mean, like Thomas Brown is here. He worked with Thomas Brown. Kendrick Bourne is here. He went to college with Kendrick Bourne. Now, those aren't the only connections. He might have some in the Seahawks building that I'm not necessarily privy to, but interesting. But I do wonder where the edge is for Seattle. Because Sam Darnold isn't like an established quarterback. He's a veteran who's had one very impressive year versus like Drake May, who literally, when you watch him, it's like he looks kind of like Matthew Stafford, which I said before they even drafted him. I was like, there's some things in here like the touch, the way they attack defenses are very kind of similar. So, yeah, it would be interesting. But
I wonder. You wait.
Also, really quick, I wanted to address something because I actually remembered a Mike Vrabel quote that's perfect for the comment. Okay. Where is it? Okay. It was basically that, where is it? Said that like a team can't operate in fear. Mike Vrabel's quote to us was literally that they wanted to be aggressive but not reckless. So when you think about the DK signings and all of these things and like T. Higgins, that's the name of the game, is aggressive but not reckless. Like you can't just do whatever just to get a guy in the building. You have to consider the benefits, the risks, and all that.
For sure. Well, we're coming up at about an hour into the new league year, and Cooper Kupp is still on the board. He has not signed anywhere, so we'll hang out here for a little bit while longer. Call it an hour 10 maybe. We'll see if anything comes out, and if it doesn't, and we got to kind of wait. Thanks for hanging out with us, and if anything does happen or does break tonight, we'll be back on the channel just about immediately to break it down in further. But obviously, we appreciate you all hanging out with us here. And we'll stay for a little while if anybody wants to throw in some more fun things that we can banter about in the chat. I did see something earlier. It had to do – I can't find it now. But let me see if I can find it. Everyone's just trying to put together like a Boston sports media football team right now. They want me in the slot. They want you at wide receiver. They want Mike Giardi at tight end.
I want to be the Joker.
We did play flag football, and Amit tore his knee up, so that was fun.
Am I lagging?
A little bit. You're a little blurry.
Close some stuff. I don't even have tabs like that. It's probably ESPN.
I think you're doing a little better. Hey, chat, help us out. Is Taylor lagging? Jeff says put Bedard at long snapper. All right, we'll answer a question here we have from our friend Los Talks Pats. If the Patriots were to sign Cooper Kupp, a Vrabel mold slot cornerback, and trade for Higgins/Ayuk, what would you guys do if Travis? Okay, hold on. There is a Taylor. Please don't poo-poo on this. There's a lot going on. So Pats sign Cooper Kupp and trade for Higgins/Ayuk, and end up with a slot cornerback to play with. So we're loaded on both fronts.
I don't think any of those moves affects what I would do about Travis Hunter, to be honest.
Okay, so what would you do?
Hey, Travis Hunter.
No, okay, but where would you play him, I guess? Oh, that's not the question. Okay. What would you got? I would still take Travis Hunter if he fell. 100%.
Yeah, I don't care about any of that other stuff. There's no move they could make right now that I was just like, oh, no, you don't need Travis Hunter. Yeah, I would take him. I would take him either way. And now in terms of where I would play him,
right?
They have Cooper Kupp. I'd still try to give him the JC Jackson treatment and have him rotate in at cornerback. Now, it would be interesting where he would play because you have Carlton Davis. Now, a guy who's probably going to miss time. So, of course, that's significant. Obviously, he could slide in and be the starter for you maybe. But, like, this is an interesting thing. Like, is there any reality where we see Christian Gonzalez sliding into the slot and becoming kind of like a Jalen Ramsey where he's massive? You can use him on blitzes. He's actually, no, I think Gonzo's a physical run defender, but I don't think he's like that dude who wants to really like get sticky in the slot. So, nothing against him again. I just think like you truly have to have like a different mentality to be a very good slot corner because again, you're basically a linebacker in a lot of ways. But I think you still want him to play both sides, but maybe if you were set at corner, rotate him in. But I think primarily either way, I think he should primarily be a receiver because you got Davis and you got Gonzo. You're not really desperate at cornerback.
Yeah, I totally agree there as far as if this is the situation, start him at wide receiver and trickle him in a quarter, not vice versa. Where eventually, again, Carlton Davis, we know he has the injury history right now, so that could kind of bite you at some point. And then that's why Travis Hunter is such a great prospect, is because you can sort of fill him in on both sides of the football wherever you see fit. You don't have to play him all the time. You can kind of make it work that way. So, again, I'm with you. If this is the situation, I would not hesitate to take him. If him or Carter fall somehow to 4, you take one of those guys. You're not in the situation at number 4 to draft for need if one of those guys are there. They're the generational talents, and it's that simple. A message from Cooper Kupp has landed on the social media sphere. Cooper Kupp just tweeted, 8 years of incredible memories. We talked often about the Rams being back in LA and how we would grow to be something special here. And there was frustration early on around getting the buy-in from the people of LA. But we knew at the end of the day, it's about providing moments, shared experiences, the things the parents and their children will talk about and remember forever. That is what makes the ending of these last 8 years so difficult. It's the ending of something we have enjoyed building with you. Thank you for these shared memories. Thank you, LA, for welcoming my family with open arms and allowing us to grow here. Next chapter starts now. Best is yet to come. That is from Cooper Kupp on Twitter. Just now, he shared a video as well. Not going to play the whole thing for you, but Cooper Kupp has officially been released from the LA Rams, and he has officially tweeted out his thoughts on being released by the LA Rams. So that's where we continue to stand and wait for this thing to go. Cooper Kupp has been curious about the prospect of joining the Patriots, according to Andrew Callahan, and we will see if they ultimately make the run. But we are an hour and 3 minutes into Cooper Kupp being a free agent. He has yet to sign anywhere. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Cooper, where are you, Cooper?
Is that your number one? We'll use this to kind of segue before we get out of here. Is Cooper Kupp your number one, the top of your priority list now on what the Patriots should do next in free agency?
I think Cam Robinson's a bigger priority because as much as I like Cooper Kupp, he's not really the really quick separator that he used to be. So I still think that offensive line should be key. Obviously, it comes down to the contract. Like if Cam Robinson is not a comfortable place, hey,
for sure,
you obviously need to draft a left tackle, but it's not like the league didn't know that already. So you're not really in a dramatically different spot there. But with Cooper Kupp, I will say I'll actually pull up the stats I found on him to give people a little bit of background because stats were pretty interesting. As we know, this was not his best season. So still, he would have been the most productive Patriots receiver. He had 67 catches, 710 yards, and 6 touchdowns, twice as many touchdowns as the next Patriots wide receiver. Only about 80 or 90 yards more than Pop Douglas, actually, and only one more catch. Pop was actually more efficient than he was. And in the playoffs, Cooper Kupp had 8 targets, 6 receptions, and 90 yards. Important thing to note, though, is that like almost half of his production last season came in 3 games. Guess how many targets he had in week 1? They fed him the ball, and I mean like DeAndre Hopkins' first game in Tennessee level fed him the ball. Guess.
17 targets.
No, more.
What?
21. I think it was 22, crazy. But one didn't count. He had 21 targets, 14 catches, 110 yards, and a touchdown. Then week 9 in Seattle, he had 14 targets, 11 catches, and 104 yards. And then week 11, Patriots, he had 10 targets, 6 catches, 106 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So a lot of his production came in a very quick time frame. Then when you look at the down season, so he played the 3rd fewest snaps in his career. I think a big part of that was they actually started to phase him out later in the year. Like when you look at his numbers with, you include the postseason, they kind of drop off pretty dramatically. 2nd fewest yards per route run in his career. Had the 2nd most contested targets. A lot of that, if you actually watch the tape, is he just doesn't have the explosiveness he used to have to separate against man coverage. So he has to be schemed open or given some type of advantage. He has some vertical burst, I will say, but if it's like man-to-man in those short areas, it's got to be to like motion him to a flat or a shallow crosser. And even then, like on the crossing routes, he just didn't have the speed to pull away. Yards after catch per reception, 3.8, the fewest of his entire career. Again, he's not really making anybody miss. He's not fast enough to pull away and doesn't have the burst. So you're pretty much just going to get what you have, like purely a possession receiver at this point. 2nd fewest conversions of his career as well. Now, there were some positives, all right? Now, while he did not have, he was about middle of the pack in terms of targets in his career, but he had the 2nd lowest drop rate of his career. It was also tied for the 7th best among wide receivers, so you can take that. And he still had 110.8 wide receiver rating when targeted. That was his highest since 2021 and ranked 11th among qualifying receivers. Also, no penalties. So it doesn't look pretty. And again, a lot of that production came in a short time span, but he's still very efficient. Not very good against man coverage in terms of just efficiency of catching the ball. When you look at the yards per route run, touchdowns, they're about the same. Here's what surprised me. When you think of Cooper Kupp, you would think, okay, this point in his career, he probably was eating underneath, right? A lot of short stuff. That's probably where he was the most efficient. Sure. You would be wrong. He was at his best on deep targets. Now, among, again, qualifying receivers, I think PFF had like 41 guys in this criteria. Cooper Kupp had the fewest deep targets, right? There were only 16. But he had the 3rd highest catch rate, caught every single contested target that came his way. And from what I saw on tape, every target that was in his area code, he actually wound up catching, didn't drop a single pass. Now, where that production came from, one, the Rams love throwing to the sideline. So a sneaky thing about Kupp's game that I didn't know, dude has toe drag swag. I had no idea because, again, Cooper Kupp, you're thinking more the middle of the field. There were like 3 catches he made where he had to drag the toes, where one official was saying it was an incompletion, or at least 1 or 2, and the other guy was saying it was a catch. So it was that degree of difficulty, but he was able to do it. So those deeper outbreaking routes, also up the seams, like the dude, there was the play against Jonathan Jones where obviously he catches it and Jonathan Jones misses the tackle, but he had a couple of really impressive catches in tight coverage down the middle of the field. So you can see where his skill set would potentially translate for Drake May. Has a little bit of vertical burst when he can get the corner on their toes by manipulating his speed in his route. But that's really why I'm intrigued by Cooper Kupp. It's the reliability. He's going to catch everything, but also he can produce downfield, mostly against zones. Like, it reminds me, honestly, of Juju, actually, a couple years ago. Because remember in camp, there got to a point where whenever it was an obvious passing situation where it seemed like, okay, you're probably going to get man coverage, they started putting Pop in, and they would take Juju out. He was more of that zone beater guy. I think that's kind of the area that I would expect Cooper Kupp to be in with a little more verticality. But I like the idea of rotating him because you don't want Pop on the field on early downs. But Kupp allows you, like the Rams, to go 3 receivers, give yourself a schematic advantage in the run game, and use Cooper Kupp as almost like an extra tight end. So I like that he would be more of a rotational player, but also for a guy like Todd Downing, who's never coached wide receivers before, he's coached tight ends, has the quarterback's perspective, that's his background. But Cooper Kupp could kind of be that middle ground where he's able to maybe translate some things to the younger guys and be almost a pseudo coach. Because as Mike Vrabel said, the players are going to be the ones that set the culture. Coaches can only do so much. Having a guy like Cooper Kupp, also think he'd bring the best out of Kendrick Bourne. Like KB has said that Cooper Kupp made him a better player and was like, you're better than me, but I work harder than you. Yeah, I just feel like he's the kind of guy that elevates everybody around him. So, you know, as everyone keeps saying, not the player he was, but there's definitely still something left. You just have to manage your expectations.
Yeah. I won't echo everything you said because I didn't dive as deep as you did as far as numbers and stats, but at the end of the day, it's a guy who's done it before. It's a guy who has the familiarity with KB. And yes, depending on the money and situation, is he cooked? I don't know about cooked. There's tread on the tires. He's played for a long time. He's dealt with some injury. He's not the Triple Crown guy he was before, but he's definitely value add to your room given the intangibles, the off the field stuff. So, we'll see what happens there. But again, Cooper Kupp is curious about the prospect of joining New England. We'll see if anything comes to fruition. Pro Bowl guard Kevin Zeitler just signed a 1-year, $9 million contract with the Tennessee Titans. Mm-hmm. That's another guard off the board. It is a good signing for Tennessee. I wonder if the Patriots were involved there, as they have been involved in the guard market in general. Maybe that's another domino that falls, the 1-year, $9 million, and perhaps a Mekhi Becton, shake loose elsewhere. I feel like he will end up leaving Philly because they did just trade for the kid from Houston who was a 4th and first-round pick. So it feels like Becton's time is coming to a close with the Eagles. Wonder if the Patriots, make any moves on the guard market, as they have sort of been fishing around there for some time.
I wanted to address somebody in the chat who said I blocked them. Trying to find out where it is. William, why did I block you? I will be honest. Usually, I'm pretty sensitive on Twitter. I work too hard for people to talk to me like an asshole. So if I feel like you talk to me crazy. I really don't care. So if you talk to me a certain kind of way and I don't like it, I'll block you. I really don't care. Like, social media is not the real world. I don't have to tolerate you. But I do give second chances. So William, put your account in the chat. I'll unblock you and I'll give you another shot.
There you go. Congratulations, William. You get a second chance. I do wonder if this Zeitler signing, I'm looking at and Schefter just tweeted out the Titans' new offensive line. Mm-hmm. It is, damn it, I just broke my fidget spinner. I've been playing with a fidget spinner.
That's very annoying. I'm sorry.
And it just broke on me. That's what happens when we don't have any news. Dan Moore at left tackle, Peter Skoronski at left guard, Lloyd Cushenberry at center, Kevin Zeitler at right guard, and J.C. Latham at right tackle.
We'll see.
Not terrible.
It's not bad, but we'll see. I don't dislike that interior at all. No. I don't know enough about what J.C. Latham's done in the NFL, so we will see. But yeah, it's really not a bad interior.
No, it's not.
And it's fine on the outside, I feel like.
All right. I think unless anything pressing yeah, seriously. Shout out Mike representing the ADHD people. Yeah, but I'm screwed now because I got nothing.
I've been playing with this.
I got nothing to play with.
Clip onto with my my old camera. I've been playing with this the entire show.
I used to have a big like those bubble popper things. I used to have one of those in my desk. I don't know where that went.
Can you twirl a pencil? Do I even have? I don't even think
like around the thumb.
Can you do that?
Not really. I used to be able to, but
babe, do we have a pen or a pencil?
I can't do it right now.
You have a pen or a pencil you can throw up here? Nice. Liz is gonna throw one up. Oh, I have no idea where this is gonna go.
Someone says click on a pen. What happened?
I think are you okay?
Did it come back and hit her?
Okay, ready?
What even just happened? I almost caught it. That was a good throw. Oh my God. She said on her way down from throwing it, she hit her wrist on the chair.
Oh my God.
It's a very athletic family we got over here. But yeah, like this.
Whoa. No. What the hell is that?
Bro, when you go to school in New York City, I had my class. It was like there was one group of kids who always just are sitting doing this or like this thing. This one's tough.
That I used to be able to do. I can't do around the thumb anymore. I used to.
There we go.
There you go.
But yeah, like ADHD, I saw them do it. I was like, you got to teach me. And now I if I have a pen or a pencil in my hand, I do it. And the teachers used to get mad at me. And I'm like, bro, if I put this down, I'm going to make a scene.
Yeah, right.
I can't control myself.
Oh, finger skateboards. Those aren't bad either.
You can never figure those out.
Tech decks. That's what they were called, right?
How does it stick to your finger? Do you put your thumb underneath it?
I think you might. When you go really in the air, you have to put
I never understood. It's like that dance where you go like this and it looks it looks like you're walking on air.
Oh yeah.
I saw it was like a meme. It was like, you will never look dumber than actually trying to do that dance. I swear it's impossible. I still feel like those are photoshopped. How do people do that?
I don't know. Someone's telling me to choke up more. Choke up this way. So spin
It's
I just threw it.
I'm so bad at instructions. So the thumb needs to be stable because you're spinning it around the thumb.
Right.
And it's literally just like a light flick and you kind of just guide it. Like let it do its thing. And then you catch it with this finger.
Can't do it right now. I had it in high school and I lost it over the last 10 years.
I can't believe I still have it, honestly.
So the New York Jets have signed Chuks Okorafor. Good luck.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. I'm different. Where is that? I don't even see the signing.
Aaron Wilson from Houston.
Oh yeah, Aaron Wilson's a dude.
He's all over the wire.
He's like real life Ricky.
Yeah, exactly. Well, all right. We're an hour 15 into the new league year and nothing has happened. So I think that means that time is up here on the Patriots Daily Podcast.
Dude,
but honestly,
I'm going to go on my walk. I'm going to go on my walk and something's going to happen.
100%. We're going to leave and we're going to have to come back. But there's 4,000 of you in here in total. So we appreciate you guys hanging out with us here. We hate that there was nothing to react to, but it was still a good hour and 15-minute podcast. A quick reminder, we do now have membership tiers here on the channel. So not only do you get me and Taylor's hour-long talk fests, but you also get exclusive film reviews. You get to use emojis. You get, I'll just say it. I pick members over non-members when I pull up chats. So that's what you get as well. You get all the good stuff here, and those are our tiers. You'll still get all the free stuff that we always bring, but there is that as well. So we're also powered by Prize Picks. Head over there. Use that code CLNS Celtics game tonight as well. Taylor has one more thing before we go.
I just thought of something. This is so random.
Okay.
Do you ever call Kate? Or do you just use other stuff? Because when Liz calls me by my first, if she calls me Taylor, I'm like offended. I'm like, I don't know who the hell you think you are calling me by my first name. I would like a pet name. Pick which one, but don't be calling me Taylor in my own house. That's weird. You're not my.
No, I call Kate. Kate's name is also just Kate. So it's not Caitlin. It's not Catherine. She is Kate. Kate. So, I mean, I call her other things occasionally, but it's mostly Kate. Yeah, we usually stick to that.
Interesting. I guess that's just us. All right. Well, a little peek behind the curtain.
Yeah, peek behind me and Taylor.
Called my name.
Yeah. So, if you want to get Taylor mad, call him by his first name. I guess that's what.
No, actually, if you see me in person, actually, I don't know. Call me whatever you want. I don't care. I'm not that serious about it. Liz is the one who can't call me my name. Just
perfect. Well, we'll be back later on if the Patriots sign someone. If we're not back, Patriots have media availability tomorrow in Foxborough, 1 p.m. press conferences. So myself and Taylor will be down there. We'll have coverage there the entire day. So follow at Patriots CLNS on X. Keep it here on Patriots Press Pass as well. I'm sure we'll have plenty of pods from our other friends up here shortly. So keep it locked in here. And again, if anything more breaks, if we get honestly, if we get any more inklings that the Patriots are interested in Cooper Kupp or anything like that, we'll come right back for a live show. So thanks for joining. Hopefully we'll see you soon with some Cooper Kupp news. If not, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And we will see you next time. Where's my outro? There it is. Peace out, everybody.
Bye.